About 1 year ago now, after we finally emerged from the Call of Duty Warzone slog that was Chapter 5, Epic Games took a shit in our mouths with the addition of Fortnite's newest cosmetic type, kicks. They were largely dismissed as the worst things ever to touch people's V-Bucks cards, like this thing was a Galactus level threat to people's wallets. And 1 year later, that sentiment has changed less than Maggie Simpson's aging. Despite all this, Epic are still out here pumping these things out from the item shop and into your gullets, and with probably no idea what the hell they're doing. Like, they're not even trying to make these things more worth your attention or your cold hard dosh. Or maybe they do have an idea if they're still making an industry plant out of kicks? What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna rewind the time machine and we'll just go over everything that has had to do with kicks over the past year. Maybe we'll learn something about Epic's master plan with these things as to why they're still relevant in the item shop today. Now, the basic idea behind kicks is pretty simple. They're shoes that go over your character's feet. Yep, that's it. Now, given that there are already thousands of skins in the game, by the time some so-called megabind big brain genius at Epic Games came up with the idea of making us throw up our dosh to wear shoes, implementing kicks as a new cosmetic type wasn't going to be a very quick process, just like how it took like half a year for every skin to get a Lego style. Though, in this case, it only took like a month or two for practically every skin to get their license to kick. But even then, you'll find two kinds of stupid when it comes to how these skins actually wear the kicks. There's the good kind of stupid, and then there's just the dumb kind of stupid. It's morbid. Now, what exactly is so bad about the kicks as a cosmetic? Why do most people still avoid them like the cheese touch even a year later? Well, the first and most obvious issue is just the absolutely insane pricing.
Hey yo, what the fuck?
A single pair of kicks in an item shop will cost 600 V-Bucks at least, 3 times more expensive than most back blings. And that's just for the cheapest ones, because once you start talking about the licensed kicks from the real world, that price is about to get shot out of a Mac cannon from Halo 2 and straight past Mars. 1,000 V-Bucks for shoes. 1,000 fucking V-Bucks for literal shoes that you actively have to look down at your feet to notice. Like, oh shit, I didn't know that you were down there under my nutsack. You get more entertainment out of paying someone $10 to throw cat poo at your face. Like, there's practically no reason to spend that much on something so small. Oh, and wait, it gets worse. All of the different colors of those licensed kicks are actually sold separately at full price. Only the originals get edit styles. That means you'd have to sell your soul to the warp if you want to afford all the colors of just one model of licensed kicks. Now, some of you, like myself, may have noticed that kicks essentially occupy the same kind of niche as back blings, in the sense that they decorate your skin's appearance to give you that extra bit of sauce you've been missing your whole life. But beyond that, there are still some huge differences, even aside from back blings already being around since the Big Bang, aka since cosmetics in this game were first a thing. First of all, back blings are, of course, mounted on your back, which is constantly put on blast in a third-person game like this, so you don't have to worry about looking down at your shoe just to check if that little knot is getting loose. What was that knot called again? Back blings have also appeared in every single battle pass ever, so you're bound to already be hoarding them even if you don't fuck with the item shop.
My stuff.
Kicks, meanwhile, only ever appeared in one battle pass, and that was it. Back blings are, of course, also bundled in with many existing skins. Now yeah, most of the newer back blings that have been coming out lately are being sold separately with newer skins now, which has been nothing short of a Shakespearean tragedy.
I have a question for the god. Why?
But with older skins, you get the back bling for literally nothing, something kicks can only dream of. But even when sold separately, most back blings are usually just chump change when compared to even just one pair of kicks.
Would y'all be willing to sell your whole inventory for...
Would you do it?
No.
You got yourself a deal. I never want to come back here. Everyone, you're all within 500 feet of a school.
Over 200 arrests were made that day. It's still known in flea market lore as Extinction Sunday. I'm Chris Griffin, and my brother and my dog left me in a very hot car.
So if the kicks are of just such abominable value, then why hasn't Epic done anything to rectify that? You look at instruments and car cosmetics, which both had their prices reduced not long after they first popped into the item shop. Epic still hasn't done anything like that with the kicks yet after an entire year. Then there's the versatility issue. Instruments were made usable as backblings and pickaxes sometime after they first came out. That's in addition to already being usable in jam loops and certain emotes. Festival still being relatively popular compared to other modes that aren't Battle Royale is also a bonus. Car cosmetics on the other hand may also have ludicrous prices, but they make up for that by being hardly customizable, at least in most cases. They're also the flashing spark of Rocket League, but even for people who don't play Rocket League, they still have a significant presence in Battle Royale even with rocket racing long buried in the dirt. The only things I can think have worse value than kicks are Lego sets, which must have flip-flopped off the shelves so flaccidly that Epic almost never sells them anymore outside of the Lego Pass, because they are completely worthless if you don't touch the Lego modes, but enough about that. However, out of all the issues I just described with kicks at the moment, some of them aren't really Epic's fault. I will now talk about the topic of licensing. It's a tale that's as old as pop culture itself. Companies and brands like to control and micromanage how their products are portrayed in media. Why do you think modern racing games have such shitty damage effects now compared to older ones?
Perfection.
Getting hurt.
Remember when racing games used to have good damage effects? And obviously, with how every season nowadays is more stacked with collabs than your average teenager in a teen drama film's bedroom, Fortnite is undoubtedly more familiar with the licensing phenomenon than Overwatch characters are with Rule 34. Why do you think we still haven't gotten lightsaber pickaxes after several years of getting as many Star Wars collabs as Concord got players? In the case of kicks, we can presume that the shoe brands whose shoes Epic is putting into the game, those brands are forcing them to sell those different colors separately and jacking up the prices for every single one. If it were up to Epic, I think they would have made all the various colors of those licensed kicks into edit styles, instead of making you buy every single one. If it were up to Epic, they would have given us lightsaber pickaxes a long time ago. If it were up to Epic, they would have given the Ford Mustangs more decals, just like they did with the Lambos. Though that doesn't excuse how they're still selling their own original kicks for twice as much as most back blings. Epic got some real fucking nerve to jack them up to this. Despite all of these issues, there is something I do find fascinating about the kicks. That Sherlock Holmes type deal fascination is the prospect that kicks could be just the beginning of a whole ass tsunami of new cosmetic types to make skins more modular or intrinsically customizable. It's not a far-fetched idea. If you take a look at Team Fortress 2, that game features an enormous variety of different cosmetics to equip on its diverse cast of characters. I feel like such ambitions could work to some degree in Fortnite, especially because Epic have been pumping out some killer kicks designs as of recently. And they also just introduced sidekicks, which are, well, that's a different story for a different day. Let's just put those sidekicks to the side for now and focus on the middle kicks. Back to what I was just saying, these ambitions need genuine foundations to stand on, otherwise this whole thing will just crash into a concrete wall. This idea could only work if the new cosmetics are priced reasonably, which the kicks and the recently released sidekicks are obviously not. Like, do we need to have it harder than tier 2 players to customize their characters? Ultimately, I'm just kinda yapping, because I'm actually wearing a tinfoil hat, and this whole fairytale is probably not in Epic's minds. The simple reality is, we don't know what kind of plan Epic has with kicks going forward, or if they even have a plan at all. Because if they really planned on reducing the prices on the kicks, I imagine they would have already done so months ago. Really, the only things that have changed over the past year regarding kicks is Epic getting both more big brain creative with original designs, and also going lower with just how much they're willing to sell them for. Kicks were a Scooby-Doo mystery back then, and they're still a Scooby-Doo mystery now. Like, I really don't know what's going on here. There's a possibility that my fanfic might be correct. Maybe Epic really is gearing up to introduce even more cosmetics of this sort, such as hats and stuff, to customize your skins to a greater level of detail never seen before. But if they don't do anything drastic in terms of making kicks more appealing to people first, I'm not really sure what happens next.